Alright, so starting off now with the terrain, which is the next point, is the terrain itself. So it has a asset manager, just like everything else. There's an asset, like just like there's an asset manager for everything else. There's the attorney for the asset manager. Here is the setup for this. So this is it is a singleton. Here are the functions set up for it. So it has the delete, the get, the set terrain, deregister terrain, private, and a load. So inside of the load, we'll show the information that's here inside of the terrain object. So default path is to the textures folder. So it has this iterator, so it goes through and deletes everything. And this is get, so this is just finding the particular terrain. So it returns the terrain object. If it doesn't find it, and it's not in the collection, and then we have this load, so it loads in from the key, the file name, the length, the max height, the alt Y, the offset X and Y offsets, texture, and the repeating UVs. And then this is where it creates the new terrain object. And then this is setting the terrain, so it goes through, finds it. If it's not in there, it throws a key. Otherwise, it registers that terrain to the scene. And then this get current terrain returns the current terrain. This is deregistering the terrain from the scene. Next, it's to actually show the terrain itself. So let me close this up. Here's the terrain. So there's the terrain. Starts down with the terrain model. So this terrain model has all this information here. So it has the class model, the triangle index, vertex stride VUN, and the class terrain model itself. So it has the struct for the minimax cells, the vertex normals, the big four, and this is the constructor. This is texel index, render cell, vertex index, pixel index, triangle index. Has this cell array, the min-max cell array, calculating the min and the max, height interpolation, normal interpolation, world to cell, and checking raw cell values. All these getter functions, and all the information for the number of cells, the cell size, pixel size, the x and y offset, the verts, cell array, and vertex normal array, and then the pointer to the model. So here's how it's setting everything up. So this is reading in the image, making sure that the image is a square, and then just going through creating all the vertices for the vertices and triangles for the terrain, setting up the normals, and then we're creating the model, calculating them in the maxes as we're creating it, and then this is the cleanup. This is texel index, vertex index, calculating the min and the max, and then this is where it's setting the min and the maxes for the current mins, so for that particular vertex, or for that particular index. And this is more cleanup. This is the height interpolation, so this is to detect the height of the current, where the player is at the current position. So this is using the interpolate math function. Normal interpolation, this is using the normal, and then this is world to cell, checking where inside of the world that particular position is. So same with this one. Check raw cell values and render this. This was used for the first implementation, so this was using the show AABB. This is no longer being used, so that's from older. So this is the terrain object. The terrain object, again, this is from the older implementation. This is the height at the point, and then a normal interpolation. And then you have this, the terrain object, and it has this pointer terrain is the new terrain model. And then going down, it draws it, terrain inside the draws because it's a drawable, and then cleans up the terrain pointer and the graphics object. And all the getters and render cells. Again, this isn't used anymore. Get the cell size, get pixel size, all the information inside of here. Next is checking the default asset needed by engine. So let's show inside of here, inside of the load resources. This is where it has this level 1. So It has that it's a flat terrain that you can just change the height of. Next is would be go through to the collision. So this is just covering everything for the terrain itself. So next I'll be doing the collision for the terrain test.